Hello folks and welcome to the channel. Today we are on the way into the missions. We're currently doing a review series of the human comedy. And there we go. We're just going to enter the human comedy and we are going to, as the picture gives it away, we're going to... let's go to Maggiorre today. We've got that choice. It's in the picture down there. Let's do it. We are driving the Mercedes AMG GT3 today with a custom skin created by JB. It's one he made me in the past. And until today, I never owned this car. I've just gone and purchased that. And here's the skin for today's race, created by JB at GTP Addictions. It's the AMG GT3 16, and it has a not typically racing theme for me. I particularly like a racing type faster looking car, but this one has got an interesting blend of colouring which incorporates like a Japanese style manga type theme, where you have the character from a particularly known computer game, I believe, or at least the impression of. You can see just the image of the character on the left hand side of the vision there. And it's quite a subtle, quite sleek looking skin. We can see more of the headlights in this clip, which goes against what we're trying to see. But my usual themed livery, number 44. Tastefully black and white adorned car. There you can now see more of the character's face on the skin, which is adorned across the bonnet as well. The main sponsor of the vehicle is nothing to do with my eyesight, folks. Let's make our way to the race. Let's have a look at the setup. This is actually default, folks. It's BOP applied. There's nothing we can do here. We can't change the thing as far as I know. I don't think we can even change the rear wing. We might be able to, but there's nothing else we can do in here. There's no point trying. What we're looking to, we can't even add ballast. So with that, let's go straight to the race. What I do know about this race, folks, is this is the one where people say they can't complete it. It's hard, I can't win. And the majority of the reason for that is A, you're fast enough, but B, where you're going, what you're doing, is actually not playing the game on hard. You've got to play this game on hard to enjoy it fully and to be able to beat the AI. There's a coding error with the AI, it seems. Somewhere along the line, PD have actually misrepresented the skill level required and they've dumbed down the hard instead of the easy. I'm not saying that easy and medium are both beatable. The best way to play this game is on the hard setting. You'll get the most realistic outcome for the race. Let's have a quick look at the ranking board and see where we are. So, Anatole has got 32 laps. Well done. He's in the 911 RSR. My previous best is in the FT1 VGT on 31 laps. JB is also with me on 31 laps in the 911. And we've got a lot of people trailing behind on the 30. The idea is to win this game, and the first person who hasn't yet won this is Alex. Well, mate, if you're digging this and you're watching what we do, we'll get you winning this, mate. Game on hard. And then we'll give you the rundown. We can see a lot of people in this that we know. Let's have a look at the top 10 stars. 34 laps is possible. Look, RCF being the fastest car. I do like the RCF. It's a cracker. It is a favourite car of mine. The Nismo GT3 911's up there, look, but 34 laps looks well possible. Not forgetting, folks, that the physics have changed in previous generations of games, so that's not possible. It's not possible. I'm a TC user. Let's run through the settings. Assists, traction control 1, default ABS, everything else off. And we're on manual controls. Controller settings, open configuration, no changes in this one folks. Controller steering sensitivity 0, torque and sensitivity both 5. Is there anything else we need to discuss before we start the race? We're looking to try and equal our best, so 31 laps would be great. If we can get up there with Anatole on 32, that would be even better. But as I said, I'm a TC user, so I'll lose out on the acceleration after a corner or through a corner. And, well, that's just part and parcel of it. But the main aim is to go and get the gold. We won't get a prize for today, so let's just go out there and do it, folks. Let's go out and run those laps. I'm hoping to do this in one take, having never driven this car before. Let's see if we can adapt to it and put some laps in, but that's the challenge for me. 31 or more laps is where I'd like to go. Let's see how we do. Straight onto the fuel control. Let's see how many laps we can get done. See if I can find a braking point without ramming into the guy in front. We usually like to get alongside the... oh my! We usually like to get alongside the Aston at that point. But I don't know how well we're going to do there. We know we can cut a fair bit of this track. This should be competitive, this Merc. Let's see how well she goes. I'd like to be able to say that I can win this race in every GR3 car. As we've done in the past, we're just going to run some laps and then we'll give you a guided lap where I talk you through the braking points and the areas to cut and where not to put your four wheels. And then we'll try and also aim to get the fastest lap of the race. So we're up to 9th place already. 2 miles on this car only. Looking like we're going to get 13 laps in the first stint. When we're trying to target 31 laps, was it we had to do? 32 laps we had to do, target of 31. So it looks like we should be able to do this race with 2 stops on 10 and 20 to get that 30th lap. We have to be faster though. I'm not entirely sure. We're 6 seconds off the front. I'm not entirely sure that we have the total skill to get up there to 32 laps, but let's not try and make any mistakes. That's the key. So 12 and a half more laps and a 2-minute lap is the fastest. I know 56 are where you can be. 56, 57s consistently are what it will take to win this race. And a lot of people say to me, oh, I'm doing 57s and I can't get anywhere at the front. That's when I know your AI is not on the hard setting. I'm going to keep labouring that, folks, because it's the main key thing to beating the human comedy. Get the game on hard and enjoy the game on hard. It's easier. You'll win more races. And there you feel it. You feel it when you know you've got TC on, because if your steering wheel's turned, you bury the throttle, you won't be able to accelerate out the corner. But there's also a portion of that with non-TC. There is a sort of turning restriction on the acceleration. If you're turning more than a certain point, even without TC, it will hold you back. So 103.479, we really need that to be in the 10s. We'll let Mr. Grady fight it out with Mr. Miazano. We'll avoid Mr. Miazano. They got nerfed by Grady. We're just off the pace in a minute. We need this car to lighten up. I think we should do 11, 10, 10 maybe on our stints. So we're only going to fuel up for 10 laps and 10 laps on these hards. I don't think we've got any other choice for tyres, have we really? The fronts are wearing a bit, so it looks like I'm going to have to send the brake balance to the rear. So do we have a brake balance controller? That's the question. We don't have the brake balance controller. We were in the 59s then, weren't we? Looks like we're going to suffer with worn out front tyres. That means we're braking while turning. There it is, you can feel it. We're in 7th place. We're not making as much progress as we'd like to. 9 seconds from the front. This car doesn't feel like it wants to steer just as much as I want it to. I'm going to have to learn to send it early. Yeah, we're slow. I don't know if it's a mediums that we need to be on. Medium tyres. Did we have the choice for mediums? If we can get a couple more laps out of this 15. I think I bought all the tyre options, didn't I? I need to 10.7. We're only going to get 13 laps out of this bad boy. We're dropping back, so we need to put some laps in. Now what I do, folks, is I make the mistake of not reviewing the previous video that I did. I try and come into these cold and just see if I can hit them from the start. 11 seconds behind the leaders, but we've got a bit of a pack in front of us. A bit of a chain has formed. Let's see if we can make some inroads into those boys, get some slipstream maybe, drag ourselves to the front if we can. The Audi R8 in front of us in the black livery. Looks quite tight, doesn't it? See if we can now get up his inside and get into that corner at the end. We've got his draft. We're 3/4 of a second up on our previous best. We're going to brake on the end of that wall. We did well. That was well cornered. Starting to get the hang of this car now. Mr. Cookerbun in front of us in 5th. We'll see if we can get him down the inside. There's our teammate, Mr. Beauvoir. We came in narrower there than Beauvoir was. Quite as much speed through there. Mr. Yamanaka then a 156.979. We've done a 157, and I think I bounced a gear coming across the line there. I missed a change. I heard the car screaming at me, but we'll do better. 2 in front, the 911 and Mr. Beauvoir are now door to door. Let's see if they can slow each other up. I know Mr. Beauvoir will be getting the hurry on from the pit because they want him to lead me through. One would aim to think that that's what was happening. My teammate would be racing to support me to victory, you would hope. Never be the case. That'll be the guy that nerfs me off, won't it? See if we can get in tighter on this corner. Same here, a little bit of a touch on the brakes and then over that curb with the power down. See if we can catch Mr. Anostra. That fourth gear catches me out when it gets to fifth. It kind of beats me there. Fractionally slower than last time round. Up into sixth, we've got the drag. Let's see if we can get past Mr. Anostra. We slid the back end round. He took to the gravel, so we're Mr. Beauvoir now. We know we can waste a bit of rear tyre because the fronts are wearing quicker than the rears. If we want to slide the back end, we can. We've gained about a second and a quarter at that point. We had to be a bit of throttle blending there as we came around that corner. Dive into that corner, try and borrow some of that curb. Let's push on into the 57.5, so we're just 0.8 of a second off as Mr. Beauvoir takes to the scenery to try and gain his lap time advantage. But we're in fourth place now on lap 6, approximately halfway through our little stint. You can use all that runoff on the left hand side, folks, don't be afraid of that. Short shift as you're going down the hill as well, because you use momentum from the hill. Mr. Beauvoir is just leading us away. He's keeping just ahead of the slipstream at 1.3 seconds. We need to put a little bit of work in to catch him up. We can see Mr. Rubilar in second place, but we're still almost 12 seconds behind the leaders. We're going to have to put some effort in to catch these boys up. I generally think we might be on the wrong tyre. We might need to swap to mediums if they're available. But if we're going to try and run this first stint, oh, we were very tight there, weren't we? Wow. We used all of that rumble available. Used all that as well. But if we can change to mediums and probably run, if we run maybe 12 laps or 13 laps on the hards, we could probably run 9 and 9 on the mediums, which will give us some more, allow us to run longer at least. Into 58, so just a little bit slower there on that lap. Or change down to first gear. Mr. Anostra is still with us. He is hanging tight behind us. I'm going to rev it out this lap, see if we can actually push to catch Mr. Beauvoir, because he is actually pulling away from us. If we actually try and run 12 or 13 laps on these tyres, which would be a really good effort, we might be able to run a lap without changing tyres. I know we can't run softs, but I'd suggest we change to mediums and run 8 laps and then make a decision on the next one. See how well we're going, see if we've got that lap time down. Just try and run another 7 more laps after this one. Make good time through that corner. We're not making as much progress as I want to here. We're now 12, 13 seconds behind. And that's purely going to be the tyre type, I think. But let's see where we go. I can usually dive into that corner so much more. We're just not as quick as normal. Let's not put ourselves off. Got to get into rolling some laps. So let's talk our way through this one. And another 158 by the looks of it. We're going to brake just between these at the end of the safety fence on the right hand side. First gear for this corner, it was second gear the previous one. Short shift out of there. We're going to make the turn on third gear, just a tap of the brakes to bring the back end round, get across the rumble strip, down to third, down to second. You can actually get onto the orange curb if you need to. Use all the track on the left hand side. Get up through the gears. We're 13.5 seconds behind the lead car. We are down to third gear for this corner, on the brakes all the way to the apex and accelerate through and out. 155, 157 is our fastest lap. Oh, I've just missed the apex there, but try and keep the speed running. Oh my lordy. I was looking over at the time tree, that was the wrong thing to do, wasn't it? Let's keep going, this will be slow, this will be on 103, oh that's not so bad. Should be underneath the 2 minute at least, we won't suffer much of a penalty. Brake on the end of the wall. Slide the back end round. Fraga puts in a 156.4. Definitely going to change to mediums for the next stint. I'm going to see if I can go quite narrow on this corner. Try and use some of that curb to my advantage. Fronts are just sliding, washing out. 5.5 laps of fuel left, so. And the front's washing again. So we're losing ground on the leaders now, we're down to 14.6 seconds behind, 4.5 seconds behind Mr. Beauvoir, braking on the end of that fence. Cut that apex a bit more than we did last time, just to change a line, just try and break things up a bit, see if we can find some more pace through there, really cut that corner, really try and get on the curb here. Try and get the wheels as straight as possible to accelerate out and then push on. Up to fourth gear, looking to brake just after the start, the end of the red and white curb, get really down into that corner, put the other wheels onto red and white rumble strip, get really across that corner, straighten the wheel up, drive hard, get through this. We're going to be slower through there, aren't we? Half a second down on our previous fastest time. We're in fourth place currently, which isn't what I remember as where we should be. I think we should be more pushing for pole at this point, but you would expect us to be with our expertise, but it's a different car, it's a different situation. Let's see how we come on. Try and dive in and just borrow a bit of track through there. Try and find a line that works for us in this car. 15 seconds behind the leaders. Not great. Mr. Beauvoir has almost completed the start-finish straight before we're through it. We need to find some more time. We're running 58.9s, which isn't good enough. We know that. To run some more laps and then get the timing chain going, get ourselves onto those mediums and really start to hammer the laps in. We need to be some 2 seconds quicker per lap, which we should be able to get off the mediums, but what we're going to try and set ourselves up with is an ultra fast last stint. So if we can carry 9 laps of fuel it'll mean we only need to fill up with 8 laps for the last stint, and we can really go hot. And by hot I mean some quick laps. And we'll make up for the pace we lost in these early laps. So we're going to deliberately go long. Try and let these guys, I don't know if some of these guys are actually going to one-stop. It'd be interesting to know if they're going to make a one-stopper. I think there are some one-stoppers, but they'll be behind us. They'll be the slower runners. 2-stoppers will be potentially quicker. There we go. Mr. Yamanaka on the mediums, Mr. Rubilar. They've all gone in on mediums, so they're running a different tyre. They're running a 10-lap strategy. 10, 10, 11 for the last one, you'd suggest. Whereas we're going to go 13, longer, slower. Mr. Beauvoir's gone in, so that means we are now into pole, into first place for this race. They're now filling up with fuel, so we have got to make progress. And they'll also have to overtake some of these longer runners. We washed out there, that's never good. Front tyres are just starting to show significant signs of wear. We could have gone 10, 10, 10, it's a perfectly valid strategy. But we're trying to do it our own way. Medium, medium, medium would have been quite satisfactory. 10, 10, 10, and then run the last one on no fuel. Your first stop would be less of a fill-up, but you wouldn't necessarily fill up to 100% and carry more fuel unless you really wanted that last stop to be a short one. But the idea is you wouldn't carry all that fuel, you'd just make up time in the pits. So we're in pole by 1.7 seconds. I say pole, we're in first place. Pole is for qualifying, isn't it? Mr. Cookerman behind us, Mr. Miazano in Ostra, Gallo in 5th. Mr. Gallo's actually leading the time trial that's on at the moment at this point, on day 1. We did manage to get gold, folks, so thank you very much for your support. We finished in 6,200th place or something, which isn't bad for a fat old man. We're losing time against the guys behind us. We're doing a 1:59, so tyres really are starting to suffer. Mr. Gallo's gone to the pits, he knew he was talking about us. We've got 2 more laps to do. We've got Mr. Cookerbun in the Vision car behind us, the Mazda Vision, which is a great car around here. It does the job as well. Use all the track, as we say. We're just going to try and go as far as the fuel will allow us. Tyres aren't going to give up on us at this point. I don't think there's loads of tyre left. I don't think it pays to just run 2 stints on hards. We could have run the mediums. We'd have been 2 seconds a lap quicker and we probably wouldn't have lost places. But we'll see if we can compete with Mr. Fraga for the fastest lap of the race after our next stop. And I just need to not forget to pit. What's the chances of me forgetting and that this is going to cut in about 2 laps time and then we'll start the race again like last night? I mean, what the heck? Can't believe I did that. However, 36 minutes remaining of the race. We're on to our last lap of this stint. 1.5 laps of fuel and we overran. That's the first mistake of the day, the first real mistake. Mr. Fontana's just gone to the pits, and these guys behind us haven't pitted as well either, folks. So they're running just as hard and long as we are. But the race is going to change in a few laps. As we then go to the mediums and really try to make progress. And we anticipate being in the lead again by the end of our next stop. Because we're hoping that all these guys pit on lap 20 or so, and we choose to pit on lap 22 maybe. Made quite a bit of time through there. It was 0.3 seconds behind, and we're just capitalising 1.7, almost 1.8 at this point. Right, don't forget folks, we're pitting. Can somebody shout and remind me just as we go down the hill? .9 of a lap of fuel left. Could have cut that corner a little bit more. So as we go down the hill, we're going to take to the pit lane. We are going to take mediums. Fuel lights flashing now. Here we go, coming into the pits. We just absolutely hammer it. And we're going to take mediums. And then we're going to fill up to, I think we're going to take 9 laps. I think I'm going to take I'm going to take 9 laps. And then attempt to run an 8-lap final stint. That's quite slow, the fuel. We're down to 11th already. Look how slow it is. 9.2 and away. We got 9.3, maybe 9.4, 70% fuel. So we're in 15th place. We've got to fight our way back up. We were running 158. Need to get really down into the time. 38 seconds behind the leaders. Now some of these are really long runners, running hards and saving fuel. We've just got to keep an eye on these tyres to make sure they're going to last that 8th or 9th lap. If we can do 9 laps, we're going to be great. We're going to be rosy. But what we don't want is these guys blocking our route. We have to get past them and get quick them. This is the chase them, don't race them scenario. Let's go, Mr. Sana. Get over the crest of this hill, change up, and then we're going to pull out and brake late. Or very definitely a tyre, a different tyre grade. We use the outside corner there just to keep us in track limits. Well done, young man, the RCF. We're going to just give him a nudge. He's on the rumble strip, which is unfortunate. Back on the gas before the corner's finished. Up with Mr. Ordonez and the GT3, the Nissan. Let's see if we can put some. We were putting heat through that tyre then. I've got damage on the front end, that's why I'm washing out a little bit. That's from bumping the back door, but Mr. Fraga's gone to the pits. So I panic braked then because I thought I'd missed my braking marker, but that worked out okay. Mr. Ordonez, we are going to attempt to catch you. So that Mr. Beauvoir, that's my teammate in front. So we actually make ground on him using the long run and running longer. I've now just got to prove to him that we're going to catch. This could be interesting on the outside, round the outside. I'm going to turn in and get nerfed by the GTR, but we closed the door. 2 seconds behind Beauvoir. So let's see if we can now catch him. Chasing him. Came in a bit narrow. Get the wheels onto that curb. Cut across the top of this one as much as you possibly can in 4th gear. Chase hard. We're looking for a fastest first split. Second split, sorry, there it is. We're in the purples, which is great at the 102. We can do better than that though. So the leaders have gone into the pits again. I say into the pits again, these are their first time of pitting. You can see they were on hards and their fuel is really down the bottom end, so they're going to take a long time to fuel up. But they're on lap 15, that was their one and only pit stop. We didn't have the economy to go that far, but we're now coming up to, we're currently in 9th place, but by the end of the pit lane we're going to be in 6th, so we've done half the work. Mr. Beauvoir is up with Mr. Lopez. We're making ground on those guys. We actually made the track much longer there by doing the same line as they did. I'd like to be past both of them by the end of this lap. And then really we're just waiting for people to pit, folks. As they pit, we get faster, run some faster laps, and look at that, a 1:56.492. We are almost faster than Fraga. We are only 1/10 slower in the second stint. Let's see if we can. Oh, I had to lift down. I was gonna punt the back of my teammate, and that wouldn't be great. So we're slower on this lap. I think we're going to get them both with the slipstream. There we go, fastest lap. We're 0.4 up on our previous best, so this looks like the potential to be the fastest lap of the race. Now let's not say that too early. We're into 4th place, so we're getting back to where we were. We're 23 seconds off the lead, so we've made good roads into that 38-second deficit, and it's coming down all the time. We're 0.7 up on that previous fastest lap, so our previous fastest lap. Getting a bit more turn in from these tyres, which is fabulous. Push hard. Oh, a bit of brake blending to come round that corner to keep us on that narrow, tight line. 56.3, there we are, fastest lap of the race. It came in the end, but it's one of those, this race is you can approach it in a number of ways. You can do the mediums 10 10 10 if you want, and you'll be spending less time in the pits. You'll be going faster laps, but you'll be just filling up to 10 laps every time, so you'll be more time stationary. Sorry, you won't be less time in the pits, you'll be more, but you will be doing faster laps overall. But both ways should win this race if your setting of the game is on hard. It would be nice to actually run a 10 10 10 scenario with this car and just see how much quicker you can be. You don't get that undercut scenario as you do when you do 10 10 10. You have to run with the pack quite a bit more. I do like the hard, medium test, and you can't run softs, which is fabulous when you can. We're down to 20 seconds now behind the leaders. Braking on the end of that shadow, on the end of that wall. Don't use the environmental pit stop turn-in markers, folks. Try not to use shadows. Try and use fixed objects. It's a real life lesson, that, because they changed the shadows. Change down to second to just control the car. It's got lots of front end grip, or compared to the hard tyres it has. The car doesn't wash out quite so much. These tyres are definitely going to last the stint, I think. And we're down to 18 seconds. We're really going to have to put the pressure on to catch the front pack. But let's see, here we go, end of that safety fence. Car sliding through the corner there. Maybe we chose first gear just a little bit too early and locked the rears. Let's keep going though, we've got time to make up the 18 seconds. I think we're making around about 2 seconds a lap, so 9 laps we need to close it down and take that victory. To take that victory, should I say. Mr. Inostra, Mr. Yamanaka, Mr. Rubilar. We've only ever taken them in the pits. We've never taken them out on the track. And we hold the fastest lap with a 1:56.308. Quite proud of that one. There's a possibility on the next stint we could actually push for a 55. That would be quite a show of force with traction control on. All we need to do is make sure we get here with the purple sector. We're 0.7 seconds behind. I don't think we're going to do it at this point now. That we're just about seeing the back end of the best of these tyres. And we're starting to see a car in front of us. Is that one of the lead cars? 6.8 seconds ahead. The leader is now 16.5 seconds ahead. So we're chewing into his lead. We've got 4.6 laps of fuel left, so we're going to be running 4 more laps, which will take us to 22. And Mr. Inostra's just gone into the pits. That's working out well. That's on hard tyres. Mr. Rubilar takes on the lead, so we're only 8 seconds behind the lead car, and we're short shifting at this point. Go into third. Try and cut that corner if you can, folks, down to first. That was a 57.4, so that was quite slow compared to our 56 fastest lap. The back end of the car just starting to move about a little bit. We've gone really wide, and there they are, folks. There's first and second ahead of us. I'm seeing a message on the computer screen about something that's doing the stream capture. I can't tell what that is. I think maybe my PC's updating. That was the bong if you heard it, but let's not worry about that. Let's just ignore that for a while. At worst, that'll be a hard drive full warning and this won't be recording, but we'll manage that after the race. I'll just put a screen and said I did win, don't worry. No, I won't. We'll do the race again. There we are, fastest purple sector for the second sector of the track. Get up a gear. We're only 8.5 seconds behind the leaders. Brake as late as we can. Down to second. Dive into the apex. Get back on the throttle. Gonna see if we can put in as close to a 1:55 as we can get. Gonna try and claw some of that corner off. Gonna try and take some of this. There we go. Really cut that corner. We're still up on time, but it won't be a 55. It'll still be a 56 at this present rate. Let's see what we can do. See if we can really catch some time in this last sector. Want a good entry to that final corner, even though we use the grass there. There we go, diving down. Beautiful. And coming to the line, up into fifth gear. It's a 56.091, so we're still dominating. We're only 7.8 seconds off the lead. Ooh, really cut there. I might get a naughty point for that. 3.4 laps to go, so 3 laps to put in. .21 minutes left of the race. That's 38 minutes gone. 39 minutes almost. We're on lap 20. Apex in third gear. That was actually a tremendous lap to pull it back after a couple of tardy ones. Untidy or tardy, which take your pick. Across the apex, put your foot down, push on. So I'd like to know from you, oh, we've done another one. I'd like to know from you guys as to whether you do race against me, whether you try and beat me, and how many of you do in terms of the lap time. I suppose I'll know if you beat me because you'll actually get above my friends list. But if you're not on my friends list, if you do beat me, why aren't you on my friends list? Widdowmaker 10144. I'd love to have you on my friends list. I'd love to be able to invite you along to the Friday night events, the live stream events that we do. We're going to build it into quite a series. We might make a bit of a league about it if we want to on the Friday nights. I want to try and replicate these races for an hour on a Friday night. Warm up, practice, get qualifying, see if we can run some of these similar format races online, because if they're the ones you love, they're the ones I want to play. So 2 laps to go, folks, till we pit stop. Mr. Rubilar has taken to the pits, so's Mr. Beauvoir behind us. So we're going to look to undercut them. Mr. Yamanaka is only 2.3 seconds ahead of us. And we're going to take another set of softs, and we need to calculate how many laps we need to get to the end. So the target's 31, but there's a possibility of 32, but we don't need the laps for 32. So we're on lap 21. We're going to pit at the end of lap 22. So not this lap, but the next lap. I think we need to change tyres because I don't want to risk running those tyres. Oh, we lost the back end then. That was a good catch. I want a fresh set of tyres and I want to be able to chase for the line. I genuinely think we're in a good place, and I think we need to change tyres. I don't think I'm going to save a massive amount of time. I think we'll gain it by having better tyres. I know we're going to be stationary for 10 laps of fuel. Are we going to be 10 laps of fuel? Are we going to go 9 laps of fuel to get to the end of 31? I think we're going to go 9 laps, and if we can make the 32nd, that would be tremendous. So we're behind Mr. Yamanaka now. The interesting thing is he going to the pits, or is he going to do one more lap? He's gone to the pits, so we're going to lead this last lap before we come in and pit. We're going to take on board 9 laps of fuel. We were not far off that lap time again. Look at that, consistent 56s we're putting in. There's only 157 there. Mr. Gallo is now behind us at 9 seconds. We've got a 10-second lead. To run this race again straight after and do a 10-10-10 or an 11-10-10-10 on the old mediums. We know the mediums are going to do a full stint, aren't they? It's quite clear they will, which tells us that the hards in the first sector, but they just give us the ability to be stationary less, but we can definitely do medium, medium, medium. That's not outside the realms of impossibility. We're up again on that middle sector. Let's see if we can get this last sector right. This last couple of sectors. We have the first tail ender in front of us. Somebody we're going to go and lap. We need to dispatch them with ultimate ease without wasting any time at all on the track. Mr. Moreno, I'm going to dive up your inside, amigo. Change down one more gear. He was definitely slow on us off the start line, wasn't he? He was somebody we got past fairly quickly. Mr. Hazal has just put in a 59, and we've got a pit. so we're not going to get the fastest lap. He's done a 55.959. That is a phenomenal lap. And we're going to take mediums again, and we're going to fill up with 9 laps of fuel, which will take us to a pedestrian lap around the end. So at 2 minutes, we need 18 minutes of the race time. We've only got 15:46 remaining, so we need to make up some time to get to that. I don't think we're going to do it on the calculation at this point. I think we only need to take 8 laps of fuel. I'm taking 9. I'm here already. Let's go. So we drop down to 8th place. And the majority of the people, we're in 9th place. The majority of the people we're going to overtake now are running to the end without a pit stop. So we've got to do all this on the track. We've got to put 56s in and set lap records and overtake people. So Mr. Nostra, you are number 1. Go 26 seconds behind the leaders. That means it's going to take me around about 13 laps if I'm 2 seconds faster than these guys. That's appalling, isn't it? I'm not going to do it at this rate. So the strategy was wrong from the start. It should be mediums, mediums, mediums. 10, 10, 10. Leaders just pitted, Mr. Gallo. Still 26 seconds behind the leader. Mr. Hazal, who was extremely fast with the 125.959, which I think is going to take some beating, folks. There's going to have to be some drafting doing to do that. I think we're going to end up with a bit of fuel left. We're going around the outside here like the old Slim Shady. Mr. Yamanaka in the Supra. We're going to go around him. Just slide wide and use him to get round the corner. Use the runoff strip. So 12 seconds now behind the leader. We're 6 seconds away, 6 laps away it says. I was very slow out of that corner. We need to just try and attack this and get through this. Need to really put in an absolute flyer of a lap. Cut as much as we can anywhere we can. There we go, we're up on our previous time. That would put us not as a 55, we wouldn't get a 55 at that point. Slid the back end round that corner. We're in 5th place. Mr. Fraga to be overtaken. He managed to pit in and come out somewhere in front of us. So we're still up. We used a lot of that curb there. There was a tail ender there. That's Mr. Moreno again. So he was slowing the field up. We're 11 seconds behind the leader. And I would suggest none of these guys are pitting now. We're in 4th place. See how we do on the lap time. We're going to miss it by a fraction, by half a second. Slid round that corner. We didn't actually choose first gear, which saved us, I think. If we'd have chosen first gear, that back end really would have gone. Mr. Cookerbun in that gorgeous car. Let's chase him down. It's a rotary, it sounds like a rotary, it's stunning. So nearly half a second up at that point of the circuit. That is quite phenomenal. I probably had the wrong gear going through that corner, so we were slow to accelerate out. But what you'll notice sometimes, folks, is when you're fast you actually feel slow. We've gained ground on Mr. Cookerbun there. We've just had to lift a fraction. Let's see if we can use his draft though to get advantage. Round the outside it is. Gonna have to nudge him out of the way. We're still half a second up. I'm gonna go early to 6th gear. I'm on the wrong side of him really to make this bonus, so he actually used us and pushed us wide then. That's not good. 9 seconds behind the leaders. And there is 10 minutes of the race remaining. We can't have any accidents. I'm having to change down to second to avoid Mr. Cookerbun. I don't want any front wing damage. I don't want to take any impact. Oh, Mr. Hizel's gone to the bits. That's a lifesaver. He's going to have to splash and dash. Mr. Cookerbun in second. We are now in third. I'm going to make the overtake here. Oh no, I'm not. He just outbraked me. He actually went through that corner really quickly. He put his foot back on the gas and just drove through it like he had ultimate downforce. We will make inroads into where he's slower, which will be the S's in the next part of the circuit. We are 6 seconds behind the leader, potentially 4 more laps to do. If we can clear Cookerbun, we've got an easy run at this victory. Easy run? No. We've got a better run at getting the victory because we'll have a clear track, and Mr. Rubilar is only up there. Again, we caught him at this point, and this is where we're at a disadvantage. We need to be on his right hand side as we exit this corner, so let's do it. Let's push him and then come up his inside. This is where we're going to make the overtake. We're faster than our previous fastest lap. Up into 6th gear. I can see Mr. Rubilar now braking on. I lost speed there, didn't I? I was actually trying to just use him as a post to lean on. That was a mistake. That's the 2nd or 3rd mistake we've made in this race now, and it's going to be critical. 5 seconds behind with 4 laps to go maybe, and the time we've got allowed just under 8 minutes. Four and a half seconds behind the leader. We should be with him within 2 laps, I would have thought. Car in front of us is a lapped car. We've still got lots of grip in the tyres, so it's an FT1 in front of us by the looks of it. Or is it? No, it's Mr. Sana in the Alpha C. Oh, we got bumped there, didn't we? He was actually in the way. Did we get a penalty for cutting that apex as part of the accident? We haven't got front wing damage, so we're alright. That was unexpected. We're sliding. It's not good. We're across the grass. Back end's away. There he is. There's the leader. He's the one we've got to chase down. Mr. Rubilar. We've got 3 laps to do it. Let's get our nose in. We've never been in this position before. We've always been leading at this point of the race. So let's get it on. That was poor, that last lap was a 58, but that was because we ran into the gravel. We lost 2 seconds. We lost time at the start of this lap with an impact on Mr. Sana. Yeah, we really need to get the car turning over that corner. We can do that 2 more times, and that'll put us with Rubilar. 4.7 seconds behind. We lost a second that lap, so that's 3 seconds we've lost. There he is. There's the target. Let's keep the pressure on. Let's go, go, go. Again, we were slow into there. We lost the back end. The car is just not responding as we want it to. It's very light. We've got lots of grip compared to the first session. Get across that corner, 4.5 seconds. It's very obvious we've not picked the fastest strategy by using hards in the first sector, but again, if you guys haven't won this race, this should be able to see you to a victory. Let's see how we do. Get onto that corner. We're 4.1, we're not catching quick enough. So let's hope he catches traffic and it becomes a problem to him. Let's get on the brakes. I can probably break a margin fractionally later on our next lap. 4.2 seconds. Let's put in the fastest lap we've ever done, ever. It felt slow. 4.4 seconds. He's made time on us. Fastest first sector split. Accelerated out of there well. He's just got past him. We're only 2.8 seconds behind, so we've gained ground. We're up on our previous best at that point of the circuit. 2.2 seconds behind that. It looks like a C7. We're going to go round Mr. Fontana. Mr. Rubilar. It's close. It looks like we're going to get maybe 2 more laps in. Well, Mr. Rubilar, do not do it, man. Mr. Rubilar in the BMW, we are on with you, my friend. Oh, he's bumped me. We've taken the lead with 1 lap to spare. We've now got to push on. This is going to be lap 29. It's going to be put us on to 30. We've got 3:38 to go, so we're not going to get the 30-second lap in, but we should get 31. Is he going to come back at me? Is he going to push? Is he going to put us under pressure? We run a really tight line there. We're almost a second ahead. We've almost dropped him out the trip stream. Looks like his Al's going to get the fastest lap. We're not going to be able to compete with that. We've still got 2 laps of fuel left. It doesn't look like we're going to get lap 31. It only looks like we're going to get 30. But considering I'd never driven this car before, I went and bought it from the place where you buy the cars. Brain's not working because it's not a used car. It can only come from the retail store, whatever that's called. Marketplace, no, that's not the word. Brain dead, not happening. Around these corners. We're still 1/4 of a second up. Let's see if we can beat Al's time. It would be really nice to be able to take his crown away from him as the fastest lap holder. We've been round here exceptionally fast, obviously, in a previous lap. To be able to not beat our fastest lap when we're 1/4 of a second up, we obviously absolutely aced it. Is this a 55? No, it's not. On to the last lap of the race, because there's only 1:38 left to go. So we're not going to get that 31 in. We're just going to complete 30. But that's enough, folks, to actually win the race. What I think I'm going to do, though, for my own personal sake, is I'm going to go and run a 10-10-10 stint, and I'm going to do it on mediums the entire race. And I'm going to do that straight after I've finished this while the video's compiling, and I'll see if I can put out maybe 2 videos, 2 different views, 2 different races, 2 different strategies. See if I can do that, because I really enjoy this. And this car handles really, really well. Once you've got used to that front end push-in, which it did just then, it does it with both tyre types, both the mediums and the hards. We're a quarter of a second down, but we're 2.2 seconds ahead of Rubilon, and we haven't got a chance. 33 seconds left. I don't think we'll get to the finish line in those 33 seconds. We're just going to be a hair away from that 31st lap, but a long way away from the 32 laps of the person at the top of our friends list. And I know it means a lot to you folks to beat me, so don't worry about it. Just keep trying, keep doing it. 2 seconds, 1 second, so we're 2 straights away from the end, and we've just taken to the grass, which is absolutely fine. We'll probably get a time penalty for cutting that corner, will we? No, they're going to be friendly with us. We only had 1 more lap of fuel, which would have got us to the 31st, but there it is. First place on 30 laps. And we'll see where we go. There we go. We won by 2.1 seconds, which is enough, folks, to get you gold. We can win by a lot more with a different strategy, that much I do know. And we're going to try that for my own personal delight. And there's the skin. It's more of your manga type skin by the looks of it. Something from Japanese comics. It's a great looking field of cars. Look at that. We'll skip through that replay. We don't need to see it. And there we go, folks. So, just like to say, just a quick review. That was hards, mediums, game on hard, and it gave us a first place in 30 laps. We need to try and find a way to beat Anatole, which I'm going to go away and do. But thank you very much for joining me. We're just working away all of the human comedy races before the next update, and we'll see you on the next one, folks. Take care. All the best now. Bye. Oh, what do we get? What do we get? Probably 3 stars. Oh, a 4 stars. Look at that, 100 miles and a win. Happy days.